pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll go ahead and do roll call.
Yes.
Chair Gallagher.
Here.
Vice Chair Graybell.
Here.
Committee Member Barstad. Committee Member Hildebrand. Committee Member Mather. And Committee Member Adams. We have a quorum. You'll see there are some minutes in your packet, so if there's no discussion on those, I'll entertain a motion in a second for approval.
We have a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve it.
Do we have a second? Minutes are approved and approved.
All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. I thought I was here. Maybe I was.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead into the rest of the agenda. And so you'll probably notice that some of these have carried over from previous meetings since we didn't have a quorum. Frank, I believe First Avenue truck signage was one that you had proposed.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so if you want to go ahead and open the
Yes.
discussion.
We need some better signage there, and also they need to be moved out to where they can actually be seen by the truckers, especially on the Highway 20 end of that street.
So I know part of the challenge there is that obviously Highway 20 is part of ODOT's jurisdiction.
Actually, I've had ODOT look at that.
Okay.
And they said it's a city's
Okay,
portion there.
okay. So,
Joe, you're shaking your head.
Right. The city right away is along the south side of that sidewalk there.
okay,
So anywhere south of that alignment or projected
That
line
makes sense.
is ours.
okay.
North of that is the highway. ODOT.
Okay. Great. Well, then are we thinking larger signage, more signage?
I think larger
Mhm.
and more descriptive. Because all it is right now is a picture of a truck and it's
Mhm.
blocked out.
Mhm.
I think it could be more specific, like no through trucks or whatever the ODOT requirements are for that situation.
Okay. Any other suggestions from committee members on that one? Okay, well, I'll have staff look into some options and we can bring those back for consideration.
Frank, did you want to alter the truck signage at Holly Road? It's more visible before you make the turn. But-
It could be more specific to match. Actually, both ends should be the same.
Yeah.
The Holly Road end is more visible, but it's still, I think, a little bigger sign that says no trucks or something to that effect.
Right. But the same location at the Holly Road
Same
end.
location is good, yes.
Okay. If there's no further discussion on that, we can move on to new business. Again, this was one, Chair, that you had brought up, First Avenue and Nandina intersection.
Yes, I think we could look at that or suggest it possibly to make that a three-way stop. It does meet some of the requirements there for stop signs, because it is an intersection with a low volume entering a high volume street. And I think it would be beneficial, possibly reduce the number of speed tables that they will need in the future.
So I will say, based on council direction, we were directed to implement a more formal process for reviewing placement of new stop signs. So from our perspective, until we have that in place and that's gone back to council, we are probably not going to move forward with any stop sign reviews, but we can certainly place it in a queue. And when we're ready to move forward, if the committee would like to recommend that move forward for an engineering review, we can do that at that time. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
No, I think we'll table it and bring it back when we're ready to take action on it. And that actually, if there's no other discussion on that, we have a nice segue into the next item, but I'll leave the floor open before we do so. Okay, well, hearing none, we did, like I said, when we went to city council, a few meetings ago, we ultimately did end up removing some stop signs that were added at 47th and Long, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. And as part of that approval to remove those stop signs, we were directed by council that any future stop sign considerations would need a formalized process. And so staff is committed to putting that in place, but obviously we want input from the Public and Traffic Safety Committee on what you think would be beneficial in such a process. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts on that.
Possibly might want to take a look at 2 stop signs out on Airport Road. I'm not sure that they really serve any purpose there.
So this is not about specific stop signs. This is a process for staff to go through when stop sign changes are proposed.
I hate to say in the past, comma, but I'll admit that in years past, it's been a little bit ad hoc, but in the recent 5 to 10, we've solidified a better process because the request for a stop sign can come from anybody at any time, whether it's a public committee or a council. But what I had tried in my former life to do is if somebody came with a request for a particular location, I would direct them to go to the public comment section of city council and request a review by the city or request a consideration. Council would typically refer that to the subcommittee, being public and traffic safety. Public and traffic safety would review the scenario and make a recommendation back to council, and then the council would approve it, pass a resolution, et cetera. If it came in from the public that way, that's what I would recommend it happen. It shouldn't, even if somebody walked in to our meeting here and requested a stop sign at a particular location, I believe the proper procedure would be to go to the public input comment section in council. They make the referral to subcommittee here, and then we look at the scenario and the situation and et cetera, et cetera. The request can come from staff. The request could come from a committee member. It could come from a council person itself, which shortens the process time. But I think that is the better scenario, is to have the lead be taken by council making the referral to subcommittee for review, and then it can proceed. And it may very well be a very good idea, and then sometimes it may not be, but that's the way it should be. I think even as the traffic safety committee, if we have a particular location, I've felt in the recent decade that it should come to a request to council to have the city undertake a review on a location. Then it gets officially referred to us. Then it gets officially recommended to the council. Then they officially make it happen. That's my take on it.
So,
I'm doing it for like almost
are
30 years.
So are you saying if it goes to council, staff would review it first and then bring it to traffic safety, if I'm understanding correctly? Or are you saying if it goes to council, if somebody brings it up in the public comment, then
Right.
but then it would go to traffic safety?
Yeah. And actually, in the way things work, it would go to staff,
Okay,
and then the staff would bring it on an agenda item to Traffic Safety
Got it.
Committee.
Okay.
That way,
got it.
because it's got to be at least on the new business agenda line
Sure.
for us to talk about it.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of a preliminary in-house review of the situation, but only for documentation and procedural purposes. Way back in the day, it could happen if the general consensus was it was a good idea and a placement, because oftentimes we didn't have anything in certain areas. It's better in the long term to have a good procedure.
Is there
Last-
Any set criteria?
Hello. So
Hmm.
last night, somebody from the public came in requesting a stop sign, and they were referred to employees, and then they were going to bring it to you guys. So I don't remember what the address was.
Yeah, that actually, that exact thing
Yeah.
did happen last night, and I was
Oh,
going to bring
good.
it up in the good of the order. Yeah, in the good of the order, I was going to bring that up. But yeah, we had that exact
That
thing.
scenario.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Is there any specific criteria as far as, are you looking, are you looking at traffic safety, pedestrian safety, crash avoidance? Is there any of this criteria that applies to placing a stop sign?
All the above.
Yeah.
Right. All the above. And that gets reviewed by us with staff documentation. There's guidelines in MUTCD for that, manual uniform traffic control devices. And there's lots of guidance for when and when not stop signs should be placed. That's my take on it.
Any other thoughts from the committee or from our council liaisons? Okay. Well, we will incorporate those comments when we are drafting our process, and that will certainly come back to this committee as well. And we're ready to move forward with that. So if there's no further discussion on that, we can move on to good of the order, Chief.
Yeah, I had asked our traffic officer, Daniel Gerkman, to come in just so you could all meet him. We do have a traffic enforcement officer, and he's been doing a fine job out there. So I thought it would be great for him to get eyes and ears on some of the things that we are talking about if his schedule allows. So anyway, thank you for coming tonight. Also, I wanted to bring up that exact scenario did happen last night at city council meeting. We had a gentleman come in with a concern and was requesting staff and council to take a look at the possibility of adding a stop sign on 12th Avenue and Tamarack Street. It's a little bit different location, but basically, if you head down 12th Avenue, you're forced to turn east onto Tamarack Street. And so this person's concern was with the speeding in the area. And there have been, I don't know if there's been any recent crashes there, but I know in the past I have gone to crashes where, people take that corner too fast and go into the fence there. But anything come to mind recently, Officer Kirkman? No, we couldn't think of anything in my own head recently about crashes there, but there was a request for that. And so that's why I'm bringing it to Public Safety and Traffic Committee.
Didn't the traffic go straight down 12th into that mill, wood mill or whatever?
So yeah, if you head north on 12th Avenue, you're eventually forced to turn right onto Tamarack Street. And
Right.
you've got that mill right there to the north of Tamarack Street. Yes.
I was just wondering where the entrance to the mill.
The entrance is off of Tamarack Street. So
Right.
if it's about halfway in between 12th and 18th Avenue on Tamarack Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's none to little cross traffic or cross vehicles in that area. The Tamarack approach doesn't have a stop at 12th, and 12th doesn't have a stop at Tamarack. It's basically a curve that's just 90-degree corner. Not every corner needs a stop sign. And in my view, it doesn't hurt for people to slow down and be careful. And I don't think that that's a good place to put a stop sign.
Sure. So my thought was
That's
we
mine.
can put it on the next Traffic and Safety Committee,
Yeah.
new business.
Yeah.
And you know, if you all have time, you might drive through that location, just get eyes on it, and then come back and give us some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So. Anything else? Yes. You did. Okay. Okay.
On or off?
Red light, it's on.
Okay, yeah, no, it was off.
Is anyone else have anything good for the order?
Yeah, I put some numbers in front of you. So back when we were
Yeah.
talking about First Avenue and that potential temporary closure, Chief asked me to get some counts in the area. And we have counts of every entrance to Strawberry from there, both ends of First Avenue, Osage and Evergreen. We're only missing Fern. Not sure that's a common access for Strawberry, other than people who live maybe on Fern. But
Yeah.
this hits all those portals to it and shows you how much traffic is going through there on a daily basis and an average basis. So just there for your consumption and curiosity or wherever it applies and for future use. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else have anything for the good of the order?
I'm surprised to see as high counts on Nandina
Mm.
as they're from the neighborhood onto First. Oh, okay. I don't have anything.
Okay, if we don't have anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting.
Done deal.